Well, international football is in the books. It's back to club football. We are a week away from the season beginning, and the first trophy of the season is up for grab, and it's the UEFA Super Cup Final coming to you live from the Leipzig Arena in Germany, the Red Bull Arena in Germany, rather. And it's Paris Saint-Germain, the two-time Champions League winner, taking on Unai Emery's Aston Villa. The transformation that Unai Emery has made to Villa has been absolutely astronomical. He is an absolute elite manager, and there's no surprise he's competing for more European silverware. No manager's got more Europa League titles to his name than Unai Emery, as he's done the job with both Sevilla and Villarreal in the past, while Luis Enrique, we talk about transformational, he has made Paris Saint-Germain into a European heavyweight. 2 Champions League on the bounce, looking to go 3 in a row since Real Madrid under Zinedine Zidane, and it will be an astronomical season for them in the European competitions. Aston Villa will compete in the Champions League this season after a very good finish in the Premier League. John McGinn, the skipper, with a lot of movement happening in the Midlands with Aston Villa's incomings and outgoings. It'll be a very, very interesting season to see Unai Emery and how they navigate both the Premier League and the Champions League. For Luis Enrique's men, it just feels like the league is pretty much foregone conclusion. I know it's a bit disrespectful to the likes of Lens and Monaco and stuff like that, but they are just too strong, man. They can rest their heavy hitters and they still have so much quality in reserve. It is absolutely wild what they have in terms of the quality of players they have accumulated through some excellent recruitment over the years. Well, the French contingent is absent for Paris Saint-Germain, so we will not see, well, not entirely. Desiree Doué is leading the line, but Ousmane Dembele and Bradley Barcola is probably on his way out to Liverpool come summertime, is on the bench. The front line is a bit compromised, but they do have Doué and Kvaratskhelia both starting. The new signing from Monaco is going to be playing on the right-hand side, and I'll be very interested to see how Elio Koche approaches life under his new club. Well, the Champions League winner and the Europa League winner both heading into the big arena here in Austria. The Red Bull Arena will see the host of yet another Super Cup final. Well, Aston Villa beat Freiburg in the Europa League final. It ended up to be a very comfortable victory in the end. It was 3-0 with Aston Villa absolutely running riot. And as for the Champions League final, well, PSG were made to sweat. Kai Havertz scored, 5th minute on the clock in that game? It looked like they were going to shut PSG down. One mistake by Mosquera. It's a penalty for Paris Saint-Germain. Dembele buries it. The game goes to pens, and Gabriel Magalhaes skied it into the Budapest skies. And PSG went on to be 2 times back-to-back champions. Well, from Aston Villa's point of view, we talked about the changes in the summer. Morgan Rogers, their most high-profile exit, moving to Chelsea for 117 million euros. It looks like Alejandro Garnacho, who's gone there on loan, will be an obligation to buy, but there's a good chance that Nico Jackson might end up moving there as well. That'll be a huge blow for Chelsea and a massive coup for Unai Emery's men, with Unai Emery having worked with the Senegalese striker when they were at Villarreal. Well, PSG's lineup is as strong as it can get in a pre-season setting, especially with the French contingent arriving slightly later. Fabian Ruiz is on the bench. His World Cup went the longest in the PSG squad. We'll quickly go through the starting 11 for Paris Saint-Germain. Savinov in goal. The back four as recognizable as it gets. So good. Nuno Mendes and Hakimi, one of the best fullback pairing. Pacho, one of the most emerging centre-halves in world football. Marquinhos with the Zaire Emery, Vitinha and João Neves in midfield. Aklioche on the right-hand side. The new Frenchman from Monaco, with Desiree Doué possibly leading the line, and the Georgian Kvaratskhelia on the left-hand side. Dembele, Barcola and Ibrahim Mbaye all on the bench for the 2-time champions. Well, for Aston Villa, it's much changed. Emiliano Martinez is not available. In the striker region, they are short because Ollie Watkins has probably just returned back to training, so he's not fit enough to start. They do have the start for the young player from Luxembourg. You don't see that very often in world football. Brian Majdo, who will be leading the line for Unai Emery's men. They've got George Hemmings, the youngster, on that left-hand side. And I've got Marco Bizot in goal. John McGinn and Marquinhos, the two skippers out there. Plenty of experience between the two players. John McGinn still going strong. I mean, at this point, he's Aston Villa legend, man. He's royalty there. What a player, man. What a left foot. I'll never forget his goal in the championship where he chested and volleyed. I'll never remember who it was against, but it was the most sensational goals you'll see. Marco Bizot in goal. Matson and Cash, the two fullbacks. Pau Torres and Victor Lindelof in midfield. Good news for Villa that Boubacar Kamara is fit enough to be in midfield. The newest acquisition from Wolves, João Gomez in midfield. McGinn and Hemmings out there in the wings. Emi Buendia in that number 10 position with Brian Maggio, the Luxembourg international, with 3 caps for his national side, leading the line for Unai Emery's men. Catherine is alongside the PSG president, as PSG look to add more European silverware, a club that had to wait so much time for their hands on the trophy. They've done it twice, and they're looking to accumulate more silverware. They beat Spurs in the Super Cup final last season. That was Thomas Frank's first real competitive game. That ended up in a very tight game. Gonzalo Ramos scored the winner, if I'm not mistaken, in that game. Of course, subsequently, Gonzalo Ramos moving to AC Milan for a 70 million fee, with PSG recruiting Ferran Torres from Barcelona. Well, we're off and running. The start of kickoff here in Austria. PSG, as they're accustomed to do, immediately start off with handing the ball straight to Aston Villa, deep in their own half. Let's see how the back-to-back champions are in terms of rhythm. They lost 3-0 to Mallorca in the first game in pre-season. That was pretty much their B team, players coming back from fitness. You don't really want to judge too much. 1-1 draw against Manchester United. Ibrahim Mbaye scoring in the second minute. Manchester United equalizing. From there, the game remained even from there. Villa, with only one game they won in pre-season, not the pre-season in terms of results that Unai Emery was hoping for, but he's been hoping for a bit of fitness. He's got a couple of huge blows in terms of players missing. Amadou Onana, unfortunately, did his... I don't think he did his ACL, but it was pretty serious in the World Cup. It was that inconsequential game as well that he played. Really unfortunate, but that's a huge miss for them. And of course, their summer acquisition, Johan Manzambi, who played in the Europa League final for Freiburg against Aston Villa. So Unai Emery and Aston Villa got a good look at him, and in the World Cup as well for Switzerland, he was outstanding, man. And it's a real shame that he could not play in the last couple of knockout games, because if he did, I think Switzerland would have had more of a threat, more of a punch, especially against the likes of someone like Argentina. So watch out for Johan Manzambi, who Aston Villa poached from Newcastle United. And that's the transfer window, isn't it? You've got to be aggressive. Teams are circling, swarming for a good deal price player. Juan Manzambi, who can play left in the number 10 position. With looking at the Morgan Rogers replacement, basically, who can play in that number 10 position, but also can operate on that left-hand side. Unai Emery, might be a big season for him. Almost feels like this season will be the one for the young Frenchman. He's basically the deputy for Fabian Ruiz, because Vitinha and João Neves is pretty much the fixture. Fabian Ruiz comes into the team and it just lends that bit of class in midfield. More success for Fabian. Fabian Ruiz has won the Euros, the Champions League twice, the World Cup. I mean, he's having a phenomenal run, man. That's not normal, mind you. Here's the Villa skipper, John McGinn, on the right-hand side. Drops the shoulder, cross comes in, it's decent. It's cleared away. Aglioche put under pressure there by Boubacar Kamara. That's a big positive for Aston Villa, as Boubacar Kamara's fitness. They have lost Yuri Tielemans in the summer to Manchester United. 35 million quid, the release clause. Manchester United pretty much found it like a no-brainer to activate it after missing out on their some of their summer targets. Ended up with Yuri Tielemans and Andre Santos. Good accumulation, a couple of players. Matson does really well on the left-hand side. Ian Matson looking for the cutback. Maggio waiting for the cutback after Ian Matson just dancing his way down that left-hand side. You talked about PSG's acquisition. How do you strengthen a squad that has gone back-to-back in Liga and in the Champions League? He ended up getting former Aston Villa player, Luca Dean. But he's going to be backup left back because Nuno Mendes is pretty much going to start every meaningful game for PSG when fit. There's a corner for Villa. Oh, Pau Torres nearly getting there first. Well, Victor Lindelof played in midfield against Freiburg, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong there, but he did start that game. And it's pretty incredible that Unai Emery, despite having a shocking transfer window last summer, managing to exceed expectations, man. Once again, losing a star player in Morgan Rogers. Maggio's touch is heavy. The last time these two teams played each other was in the knockouts 2 Champions League seasons ago. Ended up 5-4 on aggregate for Paris Saint-Germain, but the game was pretty much, or the tie rather, was wrapped up at Villa Park early on. I mean, they scored 2 early goals to pretty much finish off Aston Villa, but in the second half, there was a bit of a comeback and they gave PSG a scare. But in the end, PSG ended up unscathed and end up winning the trophy. So Villa beat PSG once, have lost once. There's an opportunity to try and get one over the back-to-back European champions. Desiree Doué had a very good World Cup. Him and Bradley Barcola being the rotational pieces for Didier Deschamps. It'll be interesting to see how Zinedine Zidane, the new France manager, sets up his front line when he takes over. I mean, the riches that France have for their managers is absolutely scandalous, man. And the likes of someone like Hugo Ekitike coming back after his ACL injury in about 6 or 7 months. It's just absolutely wild in terms of the options. And you know that Kylian Mbappe will be the main man. Still just, 26, 27 years of age. Kylian Mbappe will be a very interesting season under Jose Mourinho. You'll see two heavyweight personalities clash. Well, Kylian Mbappe generally wins the war against the manager, but Luis Enrique will be someone to say that, no, that's a war that I have won. Because ever since Kylian Mbappe has left Paris Saint-Germain, the new culture that PSG have created under Luis Enrique has just been sensational, man. Here's William Pacho. Finds Marquinhos. Onto the right-hand side. Vitinha. Fluid movement, this from PSG. Ambitious pass there by Zaire Emery. Trying to hit that first time into the channel there for 19-year-old player from Monaco. Well, the 6 goals, 6 assists for Monaco. Aklioche will be almost purchased like they're pretty much expecting the departure of Bradley Barcola, aren't they? The acquisition of Ferran Torres and then Aklioche. They've just reinforced that forward line in the possibility that not just Bradley Barcola but even Ibrahim Mbaye, that it looked like Liverpool might be interested in a double swoop there. Ibrahim Mbaye and Seni Mayulu, two very, very good young players in the PSG ranks. They don't see much game time, so there is a European club that look to just, invest early in them because they've got the talent. It's just that they need an environment that allows them to start week in, week out, to have the trust in them. And that's why that career move it's a huge one, because you're leaving PSG, a club that's winning trophies. They're en route to doing it 3 in a row. But when you leave PSG, the culture, the players that you play with, you want to make sure that the next move, yes, you're hunting game time, you want to be one of the main men. Oh, that's a clever pass, and he nearly slips it through. Oh, George Hemmings making a nice run there. Almost Morgan Rogers-esque in that left-hand side half space. Inexperienced front three. Emi Buendia is going to have to shoulder a lot of that alongside John McGinn. PSG back four is as solid as it gets. Hakimi and Nuno Mendes. Find me a better pair of fullbacks in world football. I will wait. In terms of everything that you need. I mean, Nuno Mendes is an absolute cheat code at left back, man. Unbelievable football, and he's got everything else that you need. Up and down the touchline, pure athlete. It's just phenomenal. Outstanding scouting by PSG, man. And it's been those kind of signings, that's been the hallmark. I mean, yes, Dembele was probably their crown jewel signing, but Dembele was a 50 million euro punt signing by Paris Saint-Germain. And speaking of PSG, on the right-hand side, on the attack, it's Kvaratskhelia who's found himself on the right-hand side. Outside of the boot, passes well intercepted. Can he get the shot away here on the left-hand side? They try to keep it alive. Nuno Mendes does everything but the cross here. Into the 10th minute here in Austria. 0-0 the scoreline. Marco Bizot not having too much to do so far. Talking about PSG's recruitment, right? That was the topic before PSG's attack. Dembele was their star signing, but a 50 million pound from Barcelona. Then you look at Barcola. Joao Neves, okay, that was a huge investment. I'm going to say that. That was a 70 million euro investment from Benfica, but still very, very young. Vitinha used to play for Wolves, man. I mean, it's absolutely wild, his career trajectory from going to a bit part player at Wolves to being one of the best controllers in world football today. So believe in yourself. That's the only motto that Vitinha is telling you. That so you look at that recruitment, it's just been phenomenal. Even if they lose players, they've got the recruitment sorted with Luis Campos. Hey, what's up, Manny? Welcome to the stream, sir. 10 minutes on the clock here. Nothing too much in terms of goal line or goal mouth action. PSG threatening, though, on the right-hand side. Akliocic trying to make his mark here. Vitinha might shoot from distance, so it's always sailing over. Villa decent in their defensive shape. They've got a lot of missing players. Onana, Manzambi not fit enough after still suffering from that injury in the World Cup. They have a very young front line. They've got George Hemmings on the left-hand side. They've got Brian Majdo, the Luxembourg international. Of course, McGinn and Buendia are the experienced players, but Boubacar Kamara and Joe Gomez is something that I'm very interested to see in midfield. Ex-Wolves player, used to play alongside Andre and always rated that Wolves midfield, man. Tenacious players, both diminutive, strong, powerful, good passes, almost like all-round players. And for Gomez to have an opportunity to play in the Champions League, it's a huge step up for him, but a massive pat on his shoulder in terms of job well done, man. Majdo is up against William Pacho, and this is as stern a test as it gets for the young Luxembourg player. You're playing against William Pacho, and if you get past him, you've got Marquinhos on the cover. William Pacho, 1v1, channel defending. Another complete player. Talk about signings and where they've scouted players. Nuno Mendes, William Pacho, and it's just been outrageous signings. Yes, PSG do have a few misses in terms of their signings as well. Elias Barney being one of them. Gonzalo Ramos, I was going to say, but they do manage to recoup some money from him. But a few misses, but mostly hits, man. Luis Campos is an absolutely elite technical director. Remember Todd Bowley when he first joined in and he was the face of Chelsea and clearly capital and stuff like that. Oh, will I have an attack here? Oh, what a strike from distance. Kamara takes the cover off the ball. Wow, very little back lift. And he gives it an almighty thump. Just drags it along the ground, but on target would have made things very interesting. Good to see Kamara back in and fit again. Missed the back end of the season. Villa having midfield problems. Yuri Tielemans. That's why when Tielemans was getting sold, you're like, oof, that's going to be a huge miss for them after losing Morgan Rogers. Here's Victor Lindelof. Marco Bizot picks out former Chelsea left back Ian Maatsen. No longer young. He's been at the top level for a while now. This is a good run, this by Hemmings. Had a decent start so far, not really overawed by the occasion. Decent pass attempt. He's looking to slip it through to Hemmings, who had continued his run. Emi Buendia, who scored in the Europa League final. Comfortable victory against Freiburg in the end. Got a couple more watch-alongs before the start of the season. Got Chelsea Real Sociedad on the 15th of August, Independence Day for India, and of course on Sunday, Community Shield. Arteta versus Maresca, two of Pep's disciples in the Community Shield. PSG looking fine. Villa looking fine so far. Into the 15th minute, yes, PSG are not at full clip, and they are a team that peak late on in the season. It does help that their domestic schedule is slightly bit in their favor. If you want games moved, no problems. Remember when Chelsea were playing PSG, they nicely postponed their game. Chelsea played on Sunday. I believe we lost that one, and of course lost at the bridge too. So PSG getting a bit of assistance. Not that they need it, that's the thing, right? They don't really need that extra day, but they get it because of the influence. Here's Safanov. To really be tested. They do have Tammy Abraham on the bench. Leon Bailey, Manzambi, and Onana, the players injured, of course, and Ollie Watkins not fit enough to start Nobi on the bench. Might see a bit of, as I mentioned before, ex-Chelsea players. We will see that a lot as the season goes on. Tammy Abraham, who had quite the journey after leaving Chelsea. Went to Roma. He played under Jose Mourinho. Remember when Chelsea signed Romelu Lukaku from Inter Milan? It was about 90 million pounds, or close to 100 million pounds, and Chelsea getting about 35 from Tammy Abraham. He had a very decent season. I believe he won the Conference League when Jose was there. I think they did. Then, went to Turkey. Back to the Premier League side that he gained promotion with. Scored a bag full of goals before Chelsea deciding that with the transfer ban, it's time for Tammy Abraham to taste some first team action, and he did pretty well, man, for his first season there. I think he had 14 goals and 3 assists, something along those lines, which is a very healthy return for a first season for an academy graduate. Good movement this by Villa, but their final pass just lacking. Here's Savinov. Villa pressing high, and they get the benefits of it. Kamara, who started well, clever clip pass here to John McGinn. Here's the skipper. He's up against Nuno Mendes. That is going to be a handful of a battle there. He's not going to get too much joy, is he? He doesn't have the pace, John McGinn. He's quick, but when you're up against Nuno Mendes, you need something like express pace or acceleration to get by him once before he eventually gets back into position and to beat him again. So you need pace, trickery, a lot of attributes to beat Nuno Mendes. But as a right winger, he can just try and just shift it and shoot. You know that McGinn has got a hammer of a left foot. Here's Ashraf Hakimi. Morocco having another good World Cup campaign, man. Semi-final and now quarterfinals. They've set it as their benchmark now. They are the African side that are pretty much leading the way. So there's going to be an African side winning the World Cup ever. Morocco is taking a good claim for it. Here's Nuno Mendes. William Pacho. Heinz Marquinhos. PSG are pushing high up the pitch here. You can see the defensive line. Very organized. Unai Emery just loves that 4-4-2, doesn't he? He can coach the hell out of that system. Everywhere he's gone. Here's Kvaratskhelia. Won that penalty in Budapest. After that was a crazy challenge by Christian Mosquera, really. And considering PSG were struggling to break Arsenal down, it was a huge moment in the match. Gave PSG belief for the first time in the match. Here's Kvaratskhelia. Gets away from Matty Cash. But drifting infield. Vitinha. Shaun Neves. to Ashraf Hakimi. Patience is from PSG, but they've nicked it here. And Villa in business. Maatsen pinches it. Here's Hemmings. Maatsen continues the run. Oh, again, the final pass just missing for Villa so far. Still 0-0 so far, Aman. Yes, indeed. Both keepers not really having saves to make so far. We're still in pre-season settings, so don't really expect a firecracker of a game. But still a serious game. You want to win it. Might as well. PSG having beaten Spurs in the Super Cup last summer. I want to take another English scalp. Neves. To Aklioche on the right-hand side to Hakimi. Combining with the youngster for the first time. Trying to drop the shoulder. Finds Warren Zaire Emery operating on the left-hand side. Nuno Mendes. That left-hand side for PSG is very strong. We've got Mendes, Zaire Emery and Kvaratskhelia. Could be a problematic position for Aston Villa, that right-hand side. PSG dominating possession, but Unai Emery does not care. He's happy to be in this low mid-block. PSG are capable of opening you up from any place. This is a decent ball in. It's a header which lands straight to Nuno Mendes. Here's the Portuguese international. Well, it's a curious pass, but Kvaratskhelia creates separation. Outstanding play here. It is, whoa, shot deflection. Oh, first chance. They get away with it. Good reaction there from Marco Bizot. Kvaratskelia's feet, electric. Here is the Georgian again. Kvaratskhelia buries it. And PSG have the lead in the Super Cup. They threatened in the previous attack. And literally a minute later, maybe even less, Kviza Kvaratskhelia just hammers it past the Dane. And it's 1-0 to PSG. Well, Aman, you were saying it's a 0-0? You have been welcome to the stream with an absolute firecracker. Well, questions will be asked about the keeper because it's pretty much straight at him, but it's hit with so much power. Kvaratskhelia was threatening on the previous attack. Great feat. This time he decides to do it himself. Macho gets robbed here. This is a clever little pass. Kvaratskhelia just creates a yard. I mean, it's a quick shift and shoot. Bizot's caught. It's just the pace of it that beats the Dutch goalkeeper. And PSG are up. Boom, boom indeed, Manny. This guy can strike a football, man. Luis Enrique's side celebrate. Looking for their first meaningful win in pre-season, and it's possibly going to end up with silverware. No, PSG on the attack here again. They could make 1 into 2 really quickly. That's a foul, and it's a foul if it's going to be a yellow card. Desiree Doué with an excellent run. Again, Desiree Doué in those pockets, a nightmare to defend. Such a nightmare. It's Joao Gomez with the challenge. You know he's combative, but has he avoided a yellow card? He might have. Halfway settings in the first half. Kvaratskhelia. 20th minute. It's an absolute brilliant finish. Let's see that the Portuguese Vitinha or the Moroccan Hakimi to take it. PSG looking to double their advantage in the final here in Austria. Hakimi lets it go. It's Vitinha. Keeps it short. Nuno Mendes. Decent first touch, but he pulls his effort wide. Xavi, new head coach of Netherlands. I just saw a report that Roberto Martinez was being linked to that job. That certainly caught me by surprise. Xavi Hernandez, Netherlands. I mean, fair play. He's got a good crop of players, especially defenders who are at a very elite level. Fair. Good recruitment, I guess. I mean, Xavi just disappeared, man, after winning La Liga. It's almost like he's waiting for like the Chelsea job, the Manchester United one. Everything's pretty much landed, but Xavi's name nowhere near the lists. Another free kick here for PSG. It's almost take two. This is poor from Villa. They're giving away valuable territory and Villa having possible shots to defend against. Vitinha takes another short free kick. Here's Desiree Doué, accelerates and puts in a decent cutback. It nearly falls kindly. Cleoche wins the ball quickly. PSG applying a swift press. Here's Mendes. Finds the goal scorer, Kvaratskhelia. Oh, he beats his man with ease. Oh, it's absolutely electric. That could be a pen. He's sandwiched between three players. Villa get away with it, but that's very hectic stuff. Hey, isn't this the referee that was banned from entering the US? The Somalian referee? He looks very familiar. Come on, Manny, please check and let me know. It's going to eat me up otherwise. He looks very familiar. I think he's that. And it's a huge. I remember the UEFA said that he's going to probably ref a game. This is probably it. Kudos to him, man. It's absolutely horrifying. I mean, being selected to ref in a World Cup and you're being denied entry for a visa. That's pretty wild stuff. It is what it is, I guess. Here's Vitinha. Was drawing the press, finding Pacho. Georgian, Kvaratskhelia finds William Pacho again. This is exactly where PSG won the game here. They've got the early lead. They're by far the superior side in terms of possession and players that they have at their disposal. So it's almost like Aston Villa, in the events of trying to play out, will get caught. Kvaratskhelia opens up with a brilliant 1-2 here with Nuno Mendes. This is champagne football. Nuno Mendes with a cutback. Oh, it should have been 2-0. There were players queuing up as well. Oh, wow. PSG, man. Decent cross in. That was an outrageous 1-2 between Nuno Mendes and Kviza Kvaratskhelia. Stop it, man. I mean, this is them at not even full clip. Nuno Mendes too. Look at his first touch. Just boom. Look at this. What a pass, man. You thought he was going to find Desiree Doué possibly offside. Look at the Nuno Mendes first touch. It is so fucking good. It's right in, and then that cutback too. It's like three players queuing up. Who wants it? And nobody makes contact. Just outrageous football. What's up, Gautam? Quaradona indeed. The goal was a hammer blow, but to see the other aspect in him, the pass around the corner, that's what you want to see. All-round football. Cash trying to play the 1-2. PSG swarming all over this Aston Villa team. The games against Mallorca and Manchester United, very much in the rearview mirror. This is PSG in competitive European football, and until beaten, will remain the kings of Europe. They didn't look like this versus Mikel Carrick. Dalo Adquara in the doghouse. Yeah, they were. Yeah. Put on Kvaratskhelia versus Dalo in Champions League setting and let me know whether or not the outcome's going to be anything similar. I'm going to see a cooking. A decent pass here. Maggio is up against Pacho. Good luck. Decides to do the smart thing. Gives it to McGinn. What a cross in! And the header by the youngsters just wide. Brian Maggio does everything right. He gets between the two centre-halves. A decent connection on it. What a ball by John McGinn on his supposed weaker foot as well. Savinov is helpless. And that should have been the equalizer. Aston Villa's first chance falls to the Luxembourg striker. No surprise, it's John McGinn who creates the opening. Right foot cross, whip, perfect. Unai Emery getting his first real moment of inspiration that, yep, I can beat my former side here. You're absolutely cooking Leeds. What's the scoreline there? I know Arsenal are playing Como, Mikel Arteta versus Cesc Fabregas. That's a nice little storyline. what's happening against Leeds. Leeds made James Trafford their goalkeeper. Yeah, from Manchester City, 40 million quid. 40 million is just outstanding business from City, mind you. Turning a profit on, yes, a quote unquote England international, but, and he's got potential, of course, but turning a profit on a player who barely play. Yes, I mean, I don't want to shortchange him because he did play in the cup finals, both the Carabao Cup final and the FA Cup final, but 40 million is good business from City, man. He's quite at scale, yeah? Calmly done by Ian Matson. Matchday is going to be trouble. I mean, it should be any surprise. Aston Villa scouting a demon signing at centre half. The streets will never forget John Duran. I mean, he's back in Europe after his 1-year move to Saudi. But John Duran was legit, man. And fine, he secured a 1-year good contract pay from Saudi, but he better get his ass back to the Premier League. He's a real problem. Hammerfoot. That kind of power, I mean, not in the comparisons business, but just reminds you of Adriano, someone who could just generate that kind of power with such little backlift. I mean, Adriano was a freak of nature, but John Duran, he had something about him, man. And from obscurity as well. He came from the MLS or something like that. It was absolutely wild scouting from Villa, and they turned a huge, humongous profit on him. They sold it for what, like 70, 80 million quid? 18 months after signing him for like 5 or 10 million. Couldn't have been more than that, but Aston Villa, a proper run club now. As I mentioned before, Unai Emery was stitched up last summer with his signings. This summer's was absolutely unacceptable. He had Victor Lindelof and Jadon Sancho. I mean, that cannot be the backing you give a manager who's taken you from the dumps to Champions League football. This summer, you're hoping that it's slightly improves. Oh, another effort. Villa growing into this game here. They're making inroads. It's well blocked there, but finally, Villa threatening in the final third. We need to check out the Baturina goal versus Arsenal. That dude is magic. Well, we did have a look at him in the World Cup, didn't we? And Cesc Fabregas, if he gets his hands on ballers, he can really make them cook, man, because Cesc was a genius. I mean, is a genius. But I'm going to be very interested to see where Cesc Fabregas ends up after Como. But what he's doing at Como is pretty ridiculous. You cannot understate it. Como did end up signing Trevor Chalobah from Chelsea for 30 million euros plus add-ons. Sad to see Trevor go, but good luck to him, man. Chelsea boy through and through. The academy since, 7, 8 years of age, through the ranks, won everything in the youth setup alongside when we had Tammy Abraham, Mason Mount, Fikayo Tomori, Reece James, that class. Only Reece James remains from it at Chelsea. Good luck to Trevor Chalobah playing at Como, playing in the Champions League. Hopefully make a decent run in Serie A. Chelsea, of course, signing the Frenchman Maxence Lacroix from Crystal Palace for a fee in excess of £50 million. So first time that Chelsea have spent big in centre half since Wesley Fofana nearly 4 years ago. 12 and a half minutes plus added on time remaining here in Austria. Hakimi continues his run on the right-hand side. Matson has had an excellent game, man. He's won all his duels. Very good. Carrick playing the kids versus Leeds. He's saving the bell for Haram. Did I get that right? You guys playing Aston Villa? Well, we put 3 past them and we were nowhere near at our best, but systematically Chelsea were good. Cutting edge just missing, but now all the boys are back. We've got Real Sociedad at the weekend, our final pre-season game. It'll be the first look of the likes of Lacroix, Morgan Rogers, Reece James, Enzo Fernandez maybe. Full quota of players for Chelsea returning after some of the World Cup exploits. What's the score? Oh, 1-1. Oh, there, I'm sorry, I missed it. 1-1 versus Leeds. Annoying Tyler Fletcher mistake led to us conceding. Otherwise, it's all us. Carrick has changed your broadcast life. Fair play, man. I mean, good luck to Michael Carrick. Okay, he doesn't have the CV and stuff like that, but he's beaten all the top 5 sides. Top 5, I'm putting Tottenham and Chelsea in there, despite them being nowhere near the top 5. But a good enough start, but he has been shortchanged in the transfer window. I mean, good signings. I mean, I'm not going to say a bad word about Tielemans and Andres Santos, but oh my word, he's been stitched up, man. You're in Champions League football. That's 100 million quid that just gets there, drops straight into the account, and your net spend is like 50 million. Oh, Villa through your Hemmings. Can he look up and find McGinn? Hemmings does really well. Finds Majdo. Majdo with the strike. It's just wide. His second attempt. The Luxembourg kid is cooking. The header wide and Villa carving open PSG here. Majdo's touch away from Pacho is a confidence-boosting touch because that's the first time he's got the better of the Ecuadorian. Nuno Mendes came across and delayed the attack. Majdo's confident. He just shifts and shoots. And that's not that far away, you know. PSG finally being threatened here, and Villa in the game. Newcastle are getting relegated. They're getting flogged versus Everton. They got smashed by Bristol, didn't they? 4-0. That was Eddie Howe's final game. I don't even know the new manager's name. I know I should be doing my research, but I'll do so when the season begins. Jasil? I don't even know. I'm not even going to pretend. I mean, they're having a nightmare season. It's all going tits up for them, and they made the right move. They went after Johan Manzambi. They thought, yep, let's get him in as the number 10 with all the exodus that's happening. Midfield being vacated completely with Tonali, and now Bruno Guimaraes on his way out. They go for Manzambi, and then Aston Villa just swoop in, and they get the ex-Freiburg number 10. Emi Buendia, who's playing as that number 10 position with no Morgan Rogers there. Manzambi will be expected to stamp his place in there. They still have Ross Barkley. That's what I said, man. Look at some of the players Aston Villa have. And tell me Unai Emery is not one of the best coaches in world football. He's making good players like operate at a very high level. Here's Kvaratskhelia. They went from Steven Gerrard to Unai Emery. Has there ever been a bigger and quicker glow-up for a club, man? Being rejected by Højbjerg is dark, says Kautam. Oh my goodness me. Newcastle, what are you doing, man? Surely, like, you can go to Liga and find midfielders. I mean, make move Germany somewhere. I mean, Angelo Stiller from Stuttgart or something like, just make something. Otherwise, they're going down, man. I mean, their scouting was absolutely elite in terms of the investment they made. Almost like pre-Saudi, during Saudi. Like getting in the likes of Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes. I mean, Isaac was a 60 million pound signing from Sociedad, but they had a team, man. They were ready to go. And they've stripped it all down or been forced to strip it down, and could be dark days ahead for Newcastle United. Well, Kvaratskheilia's goal remains the difference between the two sides, but Aston Villa have grown at the game. Brian Majdo, the Luxembourg striker, well, the first opportunity was a glaring one. It's a header, free header, mind you, just past the post. And the second one, a confidence-boosting shift and shoot. 2 efforts off target. The next one, he has to make sure that's at least on target. If he can score in the Super Cup final, huge boost for him. Tammy Abraham does have a Super Cup final to his name was an unused substitute when Chelsea beat Villarreal. And Thomas Tuchel was our manager. On pens, Tammy Abraham has won Champions League. I mean, again, didn't play minutes, but he's got the photo of him holding the trophy. He's won the Europa League, the Conference League. It's a pretty good haul, man. Tarek Muheramovic being imperious as always. Is he at Leeds? Well, we are very much ahead of the curve on that one. That was Bosnia, man. That was Bosnia versus Canada. Second game of the World Cup. Dude was destined for big things. Fair play to him, man. Securing a move to the Premier League. Is he actually at the Premier League for Leeds? He's an absolute tank, and he can pass. Has the minerals, as they say, for the Premier League. Yes, Pacho. Yeah, at Leeds. Good recruitment. I mean, you see the astronomical figures of the transfer window. That's where you want your scouts and your sporting directors to earn their money. I'm convinced, man, most of these sporting directors and players involved with making big decisions, they're not watching football, dude. They really aren't. They're looking at advanced metrics, stat sheets, Excel freaking sheets. They're not watching 90 minutes of football, not consistently at least. Oh, Majdu has another chance. He's broken kindly. He takes another shot. He's going to get a corner from it. But this is a confidence-boosting first half here for this young striker. He's having sighters here. He's getting a bit of joy. He's getting the ball to his feet. He's able to take shots away. You're up against Marquinhos and William Pacho. There's not much you feel that you will get in terms of services. So when you do have the opportunity, try and make it count. That was the possible foul on Kviza Kvaratskhelia that was waved away by the referee. Corner for Villa. And if they score here before half-time, I cannot say that they don't deserve it. Buendia's corner is poor, but the flick-on header could have been problematic. John McGinn drops the shoulder beautifully, gets past the other number, says, Majdo has to bury it, or you have to score. It's a free header at the far stick. What a ball again. It's John McGinn, isn't it? He is an absolute cheat code, dude. John McGinn, look at the way he just eases past Kvaratskhelia. Get on his right foot. Majdo, score, man. Oh, you have to score. He gets it horribly wide as well. He balloons it over the crossbar. Any sort of solid connection. And Villa are probably ahead. Unai Emery, man. And just John McGinn. These two. Statue outside the stadium. We should be sporting directors. The eye test beats all the tests. Exactly. There was that thing I saw on Twitter, right? And it says that basketball is not played on spreadsheets and metrics. It's about who's a bitch and who's not. And that's the best way to describe it. Like, who is the guy who can step up? Who's the one that doesn't shy away? And only the eye test tells you that. When you watch football, I mean, now football's been consumed to screening and stuff like that. A bit of another free header. You have to score. They somehow smuggle it. PSG are so fortunate that Villa don't have their finishing boots on here. Since Kvaratskhelia has scored, Aston Villa have had 3 glaring opportunities. Shaky indeed. Villa are mixing it up here. Balls in the box. Old school stuff. Bring it on. We have got a game here, that's for sure. Villa not here to lay down. And freaking Unai Emery, man. Salute. My first ever video ever that I done on YouTube. The only man I could speak about with a bit of conviction, really, because I was struggling in terms of topic. I mean, I don't want to talk about Chelsea at that time. We were going through freaking nightmare spells, but Unai Emery, It's a terrible video. I wouldn't tell you guys to go back and watch it because the production is terrible. That was the first time I was figuring out angles and how to speak on camera and stuff like that. But it's the conviction I had. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Oh, how did they not score there, man? Pau Torres nearly getting his head on it. It was Victor Lindelof's header, and Pau Torres nearly centre back to centre back. But 90 seconds remaining in the first half, and Villa have played some ball. John McGinn, Villa legend. Clever, beautiful football. This is great stuff. Maggio, finish it. William Pacho. Maggio again. Base of the post. Oh, you thought that he got that bit of luck that he was thirsting for. And once he does get there, he hits it with conviction. What a turn this is from Buendia. And then the reverse pass. Pacho gets the first challenge there. I don't think he's hit the base of the pole. Oh, he has. It is so unlucky. Maggio, that's 3 big chances in a final. I mean, yes, you're a youngster. Of course, we're going to give you a bit of leeway. And I really like what I'm watching here from you. It's his first real big competitive game that he's playing. And he's playing against the champions of Europe. But come on, bro. You got to score one of them. One of them have to go. Even this one, you get a bit of fortune to get that challenge to break away from William Pacho. Bury it. Here's McGinn. Hemmings, confident enough to move on to the right-hand side. McGinn again. It's a brilliant ball. Maggio! He does it this time. 4th time lucky. And the young Luxembourg striker scores in the UEFA Cup Final against Paris Saint-Germain to give Aston Villa the equalizer just before half-time. What a huge moment it is for him. And it's something that he'll never forget. He's shown us something on the football pitch that should be reflected in life. You keep damn trying till it happens for you. And Brian Maggio gets his first highlight goal. Good stuff, man. Great finish. He kept on going. And look at that for a finish in the end. I mean, I'm not even going to tell you whose pass that was. You guys going to tell me in the live comments because it's him again. It's freaking John McGinn, who is a cheat code at right wing. This is such a difficult finish. He's going to have to battle the defender. He's falling off and he still manages a clean connection. And the Aston Villa fans were watching in horror as the young striker kept missing chance after chance. He buries one against the 2-time champions of Europe. Fair fucking play, man. That is respect. I mean, John McGinn would have told him, if he missed that, right, he would have quietly just held him by the collar at halftime and said, bro, come on, that's 3 unbelievable crosses I've put on the plate for you. You got to finish one, and he has finished one in the end. Bro, I mean, you're talking about up against Pacho and Marquinhos. Okay, Pacho and Marquinhos are not full. Oh, McGinn here is in business. It's John McGinn here. He's got a bit of space. Takes another touch. Cut back. Oh, can they finish? PSG get away with it. The final attack of the first half. Here's Madsen. Can he get a shot away? Shepherd away now. Maggio. Clever pass. Get the ball into the box. Pau Torres. Takes his time. Madsen. Cross it in now. Madsen tries to break through a couple of challenges. PSG win it back. And this should be the last action. And what has been a really entertaining first half here in Austria. And the Villa fans have something to cheer about. The young striker from Luxembourg who missed 3 glorious opportunities before it. Equalized after Kviza Kvaratskhelia gave the 2-time champions a blistering start. But Villa, since conceding, have been the better side. And they absolutely deserve it. What a performance by Maggio, man. Yeah. Their misses are going to be highlighted, of course. But to keep getting those kind of chances up against two very high-level centre-halves. I mean, Pacho, I'm going to put in the elite level. And to get chances, your movement working, your main man, your skipper finding you with the most perfect crosses you can imagine. It's a lot of tick marks. And once again, Unai Emery, against his former club, has coached an excellent 45 minutes. That Kvaratskhelia goal, it's something that he's pretty much going to just put his hands up and say, yep, he's just smashed one past the keeper. But other than that, Villa, top marks. Great stuff, man. I mean, Unai Emery is like legit, right? So, and he's found his home at Aston Villa, and it kind of almost suits him. You want to say that, oh, you want to see Unai Emery at a quote unquote big club, right? Which absolutely would warrant it. But a club like Villa, because Unai Emery is a pragmatic manager. You won't call him expansive and high press. He does apply all those principles, but his ability to set his team up to soak pressure and then hit on the counter is second to none. That's their biggest strength. He's got a really good eye for talent, the way that he coaches them, and the sheer amount of extraction he gets out of mediocre players. Victor Lindelof, mind you, he's up against Desiree Doué. Gautam, tell me one thing. Victor Lindelof, any redeeming qualities since leaving Manchester United? Be honest. Probably not. Unai Emery, this is the guy. I mean, yes, huge credit to players for stepping up, but if he doesn't platform, he doesn't coach you the way he is, he doesn't give you the valuable ass tidbits coming out of his experienced mind, you are not the player that you are right now. So full marks to Unai Emery. Now, how much more silverware does he have to win before he's actually... I mean, okay, you're waiting for the Champions League and the leagues, right? But barring PSG, he's not really had the opportunity to manage at a quote-unquote monster club. Good things come to people, good people, man. And Unai Emery is good people. He's good folk. Exactly. I don't even want to disparage Lindelof, right? Because, as they say, if you've got nothing good to say nothing. But which is what you've done. But look at him. He's up against Desiree Doué. Fine, it's not Desiree Doué's peak right now. Victor Lindelof is not at his peak fitness too, because he came back a lot earlier from the World Cup. But it's lockdown stuff here from Victor Lindelof and Pau Torres. Pau Torres is another player that I have just immense respect for. The record for Aston Villa when Pau Torres plays and he doesn't play is astronomical. Are we not calling Arsenal a monster club? He was set up to fail, man, at Arsenal. Oh my goodness me. I mean, post Wenger, the most toxic time at that football club, they gave him £50 million. They gave him Guendouzi, Lucas Torreira. Who's their centre halves? Some very substandard centre half that they had. That was their signings, mind you. Fine, he had Aubameyang, Lacazette, and stuff like that. But 50 million for a new manager after, I mean, you're trying to replace an icon. I mean, it goes down as one of the worst transfer windows alongside Manchester United and David Moyes, especially like in terms of like replacing a legend. Give him a shot, give him a chance. It's almost like Unai Emery and David Moyes were just set to fail immediately. They're like, nah, we can't have you doing remotely decent here. You're going to get handed the most shittest hand on poker, and then you're going to have to play against the monster stacks. So no. Arsenal now, with this status that they could possibly build, no European trophy doesn't give you access to the monster club. Was this CB Socrates? Yeah, exactly. They had the Chuckle Brothers, dude. Chuckle Brothers Pro Max. So I have a lot of sympathy for Unai Emery, and good things has happened to him since then. The only stain in his managerial career is pretty much Arsenal, so guess who the stain is? Anyways, guys, I'll be back in a short five before the start of the second half. It's going to be very interesting, and good thing Villa equalized, man. They absolutely deserved it, and it's made it a game now. So it's going to be really interesting how PSG respond in the second half. Dembele and Bradley Barcola both are on the bench. Villa's bench, nothing to really hem haw about, but never know. Someone like Ross Barkley could come in and dazzle once again on the European stage. I'll be back for a quick break, guys, and I'll be back for the second half. Yeah. Well, we are a few minutes away from the start of the second half, and the Super Cup final in Austria has delivered as a spectacle, hasn't it? After Kviza Kvaratskhelia gave the two-time UEFA Champions League winners the lead in the 20th minute, Aston Villa have come roaring out, and we're seeing the change here from Luis Enrique. He's not wasting any time. He sees the game in jeopardy here, and he's bringing on his main man, his talisman, Ousmane Dembele, here at halftime. Yep, Ousmane Dembele is coming on. I'm just going to wait and see who's going to replace. He's going to replace Aklioche, who made his debut in his first real competitive game for his new club, Paris Saint-Germain, after completing his move from Monaco. And Ousmane Dembele now will be leading the line with Desiree Doué on the right-hand side and Kviza Kvaratskhelia. Now we're going to see Paris Saint-Germain's proper starting 11 here. The back five is as you had expected. The midfield, there's no Fabian Ruiz, but Warren Zaire-Emery is more than a capable deputy in that department. And now the front three of Kvaratskhelia on the left, Doué on the right, and Ousmane Dembele leading the line is going to be problematic. Well, for Aston Villa, that goal by Brian Maggio just before half-time would have been a huge confidence-boosting goal. Well, for the youngster personally, after missing three massive opportunities, but as a team, knowing that you can hang with PSG and try and give them a real go in the second half, Brian Maggio up against Pacho and Marquinhos has given them a troublesome time. It'll be interesting to see how Unai Emery's men approach the second half. And it's Villa who begin the second half here in Austria. The Red Bull Arena, absolutely pristine here. Seen some very good football by both teams, really. For Villa, it's been their chief creator, the skipper, John McGinn, who's been making things happen with some of the best crossing into the box you'd ever see. And on his weaker right foot, he has put in some absolute dimes. He's up against Nuno Mendes too, mind you, so it's even more of a compliment to the Villa skipper. Well, Savinov would have been pretty powerless to save the Brian Maggio attempts. And when the effort did arrive, he was absolutely powerless to stop a really good volley finish. He was off balance, he was leaning away, he was being challenged and still got a clean enough connection on it. Unai Emery, a 5-time Europa League winner. 4 in Spain, 3 with Sevilla on the bounce, 1 with Villarreal against Manchester United. And then, of course, with Aston Villa. And he's up against the 3-time Champions League winner, Luis Enrique. 2014-15 season with Barcelona when he had Messi, Suarez, Neymar. Arguably the best front three in world football. It's not really a mystery because it was Real Madrid who took the Champions Leagues away from them. You'd say that they might have slightly underachieved in that department, only having 1 Champions League, especially with Rakitic, Busquets and Iniesta in midfield. Luis Enrique will say that he's having a lot more fun with this PSG side though. If you're going to ask him which front three he prefers, is it Dembele, Doué and Kvaratskhelia or Messi, Neymar, Suarez? Because of that second Champions League win, he might just be angling towards the French and Georgian connection. Here's Hakimi. Matson has had a decent game, continues to have a decent game. Maggio dropping deep and links up nicely. Good game from him, man. But Villa lose the ball. Dembele just leaves it short here to Zaire-Emery, who's gone battling in and he's won the ball. And now it's Achraf Hakimi on the right-hand side, waiting for a bit of support. The overlap does arrive here by Desiree. Do a great bit of skill to get away from Hemmings, who's strong in the challenge on the recovery. Finding Buendia. Maggio, great feat. He's got the foul. Superb. Really moving performance here by the young Luxembourg striker, Ryan Maggio. He's very much showcasing that he's up for this level, man. All you need to see is a couple of times where they play some serious stuff. Romero to Atletico is the most DNA-coded signing of all time, says Gautam. Fair play to him, man. And Cholo Simeone is absolutely going to love him. I mean, I'm expecting Marc Pubil and Christian Romero to be the two centre halves for Simeone's men. But has that been confirmed? I mean, it's been a long time coming, and you can understand that it was going to happen because of the swift movement by Tottenham Hotspur in the summer window, snapping up Marco Senesi on a free from Bournemouth and then spending big on Jan-Paul van Hecke from Brighton. That was the 70 million excess signing from Brighton. Of course, they do have Mickey van der Ven and Kevin Danso, so Spurs' back line looking pretty beefed up. Great switch out here. Here's Warren Zaire-Emery. He's up against Ian Matson. Hakimi. Desiree Doué. Step over. Vitinha now. PSG trying to dominate territory. Here's Kvaratskhelia. Tries to just slip it through. Vitinha doesn't continue his run. Straight to Marco Bizop. Fabian Ruiz. Spotted there. Decorated footballer and the most unbelievable 4 years for him, really. Euros, World Cup, 2 Champions League, few domestic titles. Oh, what a pass that is. Maggio does have the pace. Can he get there first? Slip it through here. McGinn's waiting for it. It's John McGinn. First touch is heavy. It's John McGinn. Saved by Savinov. Oh, the skipper who turned provider in the first half nearly turns goal scorer. And Maggio does everything. Could he have slipped that pass a little bit more into the path of John McGinn is the only question as Aston Villa open up PSG again. No, they've played some great stuff here, Villa. They're ready for the Champions League, man. It's going to be a problem for whoever they face, especially when they're at full strength. Likes of Johan Manzambi, whoever they get as centre forward. Maybe that is Ollie Watkins leading the line, or maybe we might end up seeing Nico Jackson there. I mean, talk about buying scrubs and how the transfer window leaves Unai Emery short-changed. On that left-hand side, they've got Alejandro Garnacho. I mean, thank you, Aston Villa, for taking him off our hands, but another disrespectful signing. But for Unai Emery, you never know. He's going to make it work, man. Like a hard-working winger on the left-hand side. You never know. Garnacho might have just gotten the perfect manager because he was not going to make it at Manchester United or Chelsea, that's for sure. Well, not just because of the player, but also the environments both clubs are currently in. Well, PSG, they scored nearly 30 minutes of playing time ago. It's been a while since they've stitched up something meaningful in the Villa box. There's Dembele, the reigning Ballon d'Or winner. World Cup semi-finalists after Spain handily beat them. It was the most complete performance you'll see on the international stage against the most souped-up side in international football in France. But the midfield could not hang. Rabiot, Chouameni, Manu Kone, no match for Fabian Ruiz and Rodri. Good pass fist towards Kvaratskhelia. There's Nuno Mendes. Mendes has had a tough game up against John McGinn. And John McGinn is the kind of player that he can give any fullback a tough time because of the less space he needs to operate and make meaningful contributions. Here's Zaire-Emery finding Vitinha. The World Cup has really taken the sheen off this PSG midfield. Sideways pass, Merchant says Gautam. They'll turn it on when it matters. Yeah, they are getting run over. And this is not even Aston Villa at their full clip. They've got Onana, who's going to be missing out a chunk of the season, or pretty much all of the season. Yuri Tielemans moving to Manchester United. They did get João Gomez from Wolves and Johan Manzambi to beef up the central areas. Might need another midfielder, just feels like it, especially with League and Champions League duties to fulfill. Villa are dominating here in terms of attempts, 11 in total. They've got 3 shots on target over PSG's 2. All the metrics in their favor. Possession is something that Unai Emery doesn't really care about. It's all about meaningful play. Here's Kvaratskhelia. This looks to slip it through. Good defending by Victor Lindelof. Lindelof is up against Dembele at a straight pace. Dembele brilliant. Oh, excellent challenge. Pau Torres on the cover. Well, Lindelof was beaten on that occasion. And Pau Torres quickly identifying the danger and snuffing it out immediately. Long ball to try and bypass the PSG midfield, and it has been successful. Here's George Hemmings. Really good stuff this by Villa. Buendia. Matson. Gomez. Gomez is tenacious. He's a really good pickup from Wolves. Of course, PSG's midfield maestro Vitinha being a ex-Wolves player. Here's João Neves. Good turn on the right-hand side there by Desiree Doué. Delegates to Dembele, who plays the 1-2. Here's Desiree Doué. Oh, clever pass, but it's broken kindly here. Hakimi, good defending. Lindelof clears. Vitinha's pass has been intercepted. And PSG pinch it again. Good press, though, by Villa. They're hounding the back-to-back Champions League winners. Well, 10 minutes into the second half, 1-1 the scoreline. Villa, the team that have created more opportunities in the first half and the best opportunity in the second half. John McGinn's effort well saved by Savinov. Here's Kvaratskhelia up against Matty Cash. Mendes. Zaire Emery has a pop from distance. Deflection, comfortable. Yeah, Hemmings looks absolutely smoothed out there. I saw him in the first half just switch on to the right-hand side. And it's a small thing in football, right? But it just shows you confidence that he's not a player that is just afraid and just wants to stay on one side of the pitch. That's a foul, ref, and it could be a yellow card. McGinn brought down by Nuno Mendes. Referee says play on. But yeah, we're talking about George Hemming, right? So he just moved on to the right-hand side, played a couple of touches, and then tried to combine. And that just showed me confidence. He's not just willing to just stay on one side of the pitch and, almost follow the coach's orders rigidly. He's going to switch around. He's going to make things happen. Combine, maybe try and drag players out of position. He's had a very good 55-odd minute cameo here. Yeah, Senor Emery has got my ultimate and maximum respect. I mean, that's the thing with Villa, right? They're almost like they have a bit of a cheat code. It allows them to cheat in the transfer market, is what I mean, because they can get like quote unquote inferior players, and they just know that Unai is there. He's going to coach them. He's going to make them better. Might even turn a profit on him. I mean, that's one way of putting faith in your coach, but decent ball in by Hakimi. But even at some point, Unai Emery is like, come on, guys. You keep expecting me to go to these gunfights, these bazooka fights, and you're handing me nunchucks, knives. Come on, give me something. I want to shoot. Give me shooters. Here's Kvaratskhelia. He's up against the Polish right back, Matty Cash. The Georgian creates a bit of separation. Shut down nicely. He's punched that forward here, and Brian Majdo is going to have a run here. He's not the quickest, but look at him. He's an absolute tank. Great carry, waiting for a bit of support. Does the right thing. Keep possession. And just as I say that, they do keep possession. John McGinn sarcastically gives the referee a thumbs up there, getting a decision in his favor. This was the McGinn effort. Again, he shifts away from Nuno Mendes. That's curling into the corner. That was a great save by Savinov. Might have even taken a deflection of William Pacho. He's coached a 4-1. Yep, absolutely. Two of the Maggio chances. Let's say even say 3-1, like being generous to PSG. But he's absolutely coached a victory here. But that's what PSG are all about, though. Even against Arsenal, they were not at their best. Far, far from it. Arsenal had them in lockdown. They had them in hell. PSG were just crossing balls into the box, and the Arsenal Giants were just heading it away for fun. It took a moment of madness for the game to change, which was Christian Mosquera's challenge on Kvaratskhelia. PSG were 2-0 down in last year's Super Cup final against Spurs late on, and they still managed to win that one with Gonzalo Ramos scoring the telling goal. They just managed to win the big games. Cash's cross in. Oh, Buendia's header. There's plenty of pace on it. He just needs to try and direct that on target. It's another cross into the box. It's another free-ish header. And Villa, of course, PSG, a lot of problems. PSG last season, they played Liverpool, Chelsea, and Arsenal, and en route to winning the Champions League. And now have played Villa. I think Luis Enrique will be the first one to say that, yeah, I think Unai Emery and Aston Villa have given us the best test. Unai Emery yet to win a Super Cup despite winning 5 Europa League crowns. You're always up against the better side as the Europa League winner. Decent run and push here by Warren Zaire-Emery. It's a good bit of acceleration as Hemmings makes the foul. There's Ashraf Hakimi. Dembele, clever pass, and if Doué is on, they're in real trouble here. It's Desiree Doué! What a finish on his left foot. But I think the offside flag will be raised. Wow. Villa get away with it. It was a marginal call. Let's have a look how early he goes. Oh, he's gone very early, but oh, you look at Matty Cash. In the attempts of trying to push up, his trailing leg is far out of his body. It just might be okay, but it's Matty Cash who's possibly playing Desiree Doué onside. It was a rip-roaring finish, mind you. Left foot. I mean, Pizzo had no chance. Well, as the check continues here, I'd like to thank everybody tuning in to the live stream here. The season's just under a week away. We've got a couple more streams coming up before Premier League action. The Chelsea Sociedad game and the Community Shield final. Oh, the goal has been given, and it is the Matty Cash trailing leg, and Paris Saint-Germain, who have been the second best side here, have the lead in the Super Cup. We were just talking about those moments, and PSG in finals, in the big moments, they just seem to keep finding a way. Ousmane Dembele's pass to Desiree Doué. Doué has so much to do. There's an outrageous finish on his left foot. And PSG have the lead, and Unai Emery just slumps back into his chair. Cannot believe that his side are trailing here. It's the Matty Cash trailing leg. I mean, he's trying to play onside. He's so far behind. It's too late. It's such a glorious finish, man. The whip, the tight angle, the execution. Great goal by the Wonder Boy. Ref called full-time versus Leeds after about 5 fans got onto the pitch to get selfies with Bruno Fernandes. That's some lowbrow stuff. And what has not been lowbrow And certainly not Bush League is this Super Cup final. And Villa are trying to hit back swift enough here. There's a chance. And Hemmings is straight at Savinov. Matson, heavy first touch at balloons. Oh, what a chance for Villa for the swift equalizer, man. Unai Emery must be banging his head against the wall. And now, oh, PSG on the counter-attack. It's going to be a foul this by João Gomez. How do Villa not equalize there? How many chances are they going to spurn here, man? Great run this by Desiree Doué. Did look like a foul, but let's have a look from this angle. Yep, clear foul on the Frenchman. Need to have a look at the chance again. How did they miss and how does it stay out? This is the tight onside offside call, and it turns out to be a comfortable run instead because, yep, that trailing foot. It's too far behind there. Needs to have better control on it. Someone who had real great control was Desiree Doué. Free kick for PSG that they take it quickly. Here's Ousmane Dembele outside of the boot. Pass here to Desiree Doué. Doué scoring on a European final. Dembele, clever clip pass. Well defended by Pau Torres. Hacked away by Ian Matson. Pacho. Now PSG looking for the cushion goal here. Mendes. Dembele shut down. It'll be real cruel on Villa to lose this one, but that's the way it is against PSG. I mean, I remember the game against Chelsea versus PSG at the Parc des Princes. For 75 minutes, we gave them hell. It was that Philip Jorgensen mistake when the game was at 2-2, which absolutely killed us. And from there on, PSG end up winning 5-2. But for 75 good minutes, Chelsea had PSG, man. Well, 25 minutes remain here in Austria. Villa with a much changed side, still giving the back-to-back Champions League winners a real game here. Dembele, wow, look at the acceleration and the burst. It's Mendes actually, Nuno Mendes, special. Oh, that would have been a glorious pass to Desiree Doué too. Nuno Mendes, what is he doing playing in that position? And he looks at home. That's the crazy part about him. I thought that was Dembele, man. That's how good that turn was. Smooth. Oh, Mendes is down. No, it's just his boot that's off. Right, so what do Aston Villa have here in terms of a response? They've shown that they're more than capable. They've created enough chances, and to have scored only one goal from it, it's really poor finishing in the end, it's got to be said. But that was a challenge by João Gomez on Nuno Mendes. Well, Aston Villa yet to make a change. PSG made a half-time change with Dembele coming on, and in the end, it was his assist. It was his through pass to Desiree Doué. Unai Emery, when he turns onto his bench, it's not the most inspiring benches, really, especially with the options unavailable. Leon Bailey, Ollie Watkins, Amadou Onana, Johan Manzambi. 4 players who would instantly improve the starting 11. I don't think Garnacho's on the bench either for Aston Villa. Nuno Mendes should be okay to come on, but he's still off the pitch, and now he can come back onto the pitch. Well, halfway stage of the second half, and PSG have regained the lead here in Austria. But Aston Villa, between both goals, have created so many opportunities. Finishing have left them down. Brian Majdo, the youngster, getting the nod to start ahead of Tammy Abraham in this Super Cup final, and he's proved to be a real handful. Some of the opportunities he had, any other day you're probably looking at a brace or maybe even a hat-trick. One player who doesn't feel the pressure is Desiree Doué, age 20. Starts for France and starts for Paris Saint-Germain. Doesn't get any better than that. Play the quick 1-2 here. That's a foul there by George Hemmings on the experienced Ashraf Hakimi. Just has a wry smile on his face. PSG are just over 20 minutes away from adding more silverware and more European silverware after being barren since the Qatar takeover. 2 years in, and back-to-back years, it's going to be 2 Champions League and 2 Super Cups by the looks of it. This was the Hemming chance. I mean, he hits it straight at Savinov soon after PSG scored as well. Either side of Savinov, and we're looking at the swiftest of equalizers. PSG looking to exercise a bit of control. Possession has very much been on PSG's side, but shots on target and opportunities, that's still been Villa. Great pass there by Vitinha. Ashraf Hakimi on the right-hand side. The first touch is far too heavy. Not for a goal kick. They survived that one because Aston Villa were cut open on that right-hand side. Hakimi with the thumbs up. He knows that that pass by Vitinha was perfect. Well, the double change for Villa will be introduced here. Tammy Abraham is going to be coming on for Brian Majdo by the looks of it. Ooh, Dembele nearly plays the 1-2 here. Joe Gomez intercepts. McGinn does really well. William Pacho puts him under pressure, and PSG secure possession again. It is a double change, and I'm not sure who the second player for Villa is. Might be another of their youngsters or good pickups from the transfer window. 20 minutes remain at the Red Bull Arena in Austria. Unai Emery and his 5th attempt trying to win a Super Cup. This one his most sternest challenge, really. I mean, he would have played Barcelona with MSN. That is a really tough one. But PSG in 2026, as tough as it gets. Here's Vitinha. Good touch by Zaire Emery, but he's swarmed by 4 Aston Villa players, and they've played through the Villa midfield now. Mendes, look at Mendes again. No, Mendes strikes it on the follow-up. Kvaratskhelia is off balance. Mendes again, and it's bailed out by Pau Torres. Could have been the third for PSG. Nuno Mendes is finding himself as this false number 9 from left back. What are we watching here, guys? It's the second time he's done some outrageous stuff as centre forward. Pacho has to cover as the left centre back, and he gladly fills in at left back, seeing what Nuno Mendes is capable of doing there. Mendes is pulled out, but Mendes is asking Bizol for a bit of assistance here in terms of cramps. Let's have a look at that opportunity. PSG, they are super clinical in front of goal. It's going to be a triple change here by Unai Emery. Bogard is 1. Tammy Abraham the 2nd. Who's number 47 here? Brian Maggio is coming off after scoring in a cup final, beating William Pacho to a battle and burying it past Savinov for the equalizer. It's a debut. The Luxembourg striker will never forget. Yes, it's going to be a lot of what-ifs because of the 3 chances he missed. But having scored a goal, job well done. Majdo, McGinn and Kamara are out. Ooh, McGinn and Kamara coming off is a huge downgrade for Villa. Alisson Bogard and Tammy Abraham coming off for Villa as they've got 18 minutes plus stoppage time. Try and find an equalizer to drag this final to extra time. Having a first look at Alisson here, the number 47. Top game by John McGinn again. Any other day, McGinn, as the skipper, walks off with 3 assists. That's how good his crossing has been, especially with his weaker right foot. Special performance by the skipper. Unfortunately, he exits the field with the trailing Bit of game management here from PSG. Oh, great move on the right-hand side. A fantastic burst. Alisson, chance with the cutback. It should fall kindly. What a block. Zaire Emery. He has saved a certain goal. Here's Matson. Gets away from the challenge. Zaire Emery is so good. Clutch stuff there by the Frenchman. Villa again having an excellent sighter. And Warren Zaire Emery has bailed PSG out. This looked like if he had caught this sweep, which Gomez does, it's on target. Hakimi is on the goal line. But what a block. John McGinn picked up a yellow card just before exiting the field, expressing his displeasure. Well, a double substitution will be introduced by Luis Enrique. It's Lucas Hernandez and Fabian Ruiz. Ruiz for the first time introduced for Paris Saint-Germain after adding the most prestigious crown in world football, the World Cup. João Neves and Nuno Mendes, the two Portuguese players, are off, as Hernandez will slot in at left back and Fabian Ruiz into midfield. Portuguese pairing off. French and a Spaniard on. Oh, Bogard. Villa on the attack here. Alisson just tries to play that clever touch around the corner. Alisson looks like some player, man. He's looking very smooth out there. On the right-hand side, here's Matty Cash on his left foot. Takes a deflection. Cleared away by the Ecuadorian Pacho. Gomez wins the ball back in midfield, but he's been robbed. Clever pass by Fabian Ruiz. And that's Ruiz in a nutshell. The way that he can find those line breakers. Oh, that's a late foul. Late challenge. Could be a yellow card. Looks like it could have been a stamp there on Paris Saint-Germain's Georgian star, Kviza Kvaratskhelia. Tammy Abraham showcasing a bit of concern. Yeah, I think Villa are done as well. As soon as you take off John McGinn and Boubacar Kamara, you've pretty much signaled that, yep, I have bigger fish to fry here. The fitness of those two, paramount. I mean, McGinn is huge. Boubacar Kamara's fitness is going to determine how Aston Villa are actually going to perform because of their absence of Onana and the sale of Yuri Tielemans. Two huge players for them, both Belgians. Not going to feature from Villa in midfield, and that's why Boubacar Kamara is the senior statesman really in midfield now. Bogart mops up. Yeah, you can't waste these many chances, Gautam. Not these many. Yeah, it's unfortunate that it fell to Brian Majdo, and the youngster will come under a bit of criticism for that. But in terms of the performance, in terms of readiness, they can say, yep, we're ready for the season. Get some of our players back. Hope that Yohan Manzambi doesn't miss too much time. Maybe they'll hope that he's okay after the September international break. Decent channel pass here for Tammy Abraham. Gets beaten to the duel there. Well, Villa do have Luca Dean, the ex-Aston Villa left-back, on their bench, but they bring on Lucas Hernandez instead. It's a clever pass here to Due. It's cleared away, not very convincingly by Matty Cash. Roberto Martinez in the house here. Saw a couple of his ex-Portuguese players in action. Vitinha, João Neves, Nuno Mendes. But Manchester United, according to my mate Gotham, has said that the Boyle Sports Cup winners have been crowned, and it's Manchester United. You guys won on pens too. Shameless. I thought you guys were cooking. Cooking what? Villa have worked it really well here. Alisson has looked some player since coming on, and then he looks to play a grass cutter pass. Matson does phenomenally well to keep that in play. Might have done a bit of damage. Here's Pau Torres, tries forward with the pass. Right idea with the outside of the boot pass, but intercepted. Savinov mops up. What happened to the Arsenal-Como game? It was 1-1 at half-time. I did end up seeing the Como goal. Oh my word. It was an absolute hammer blow. It's like a Trossard goal if you've ever seen it, right? Like, just shift, shoot, and that kind of pace. It was hit with some force. Oh, chance here for Paris Saint-Germain. That's a foul. Claude Makelele in the house. The player so good, they named a position after him. Ross Barkley and Tyrone Mings are coming on for Aston Villa. Pau Torres and João Gomez coming off. Again, Unai Emery is pretty much waving the white flag here. Arsenal won on pens too. Shame on you guys. Aston Villa are trying to fly the English flag high. Unfortunately, it's going to end up in defeat as well for them. And PSG are picking up all the scalps. All the English scalps, really. Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, now Villa. All in a span of 6 months' time. Well, you can add Spurs to the Super Cup Final last season, but that was a completely different Spurs side with Thomas Frank in charge. Maatsen just clips the ball in. It's comfortable for Savinov, and he's made a quick release here. Look at the bench options as well. They bring on Fabian Ruiz and Dembele, and Aston Villa are bringing on the likes of Ross Barkley and Tammy Abraham. I mean, Chelsea excellence, sure, but got to give the coach a bit of a chance, man. 80 minutes on the clock, and it looks like Villa's steam has run out. Buendia is coming off too. No, he's still on the pitch. Well, Victor Lindelof stays on the pitch. Pau Torres doesn't, which is not a performance-related decision by Unai Emery. He's taken off all his key starters. Here's Bogard, Barkley, Matty Cash. Here's Alisson. Again, look at the players that Villa have on the pitch here, trying to chase a goal down against Paris Saint-Germain. Decent pass there by Lindelof. Intercepted in midfield. They play through the Villa midfield with ease. Space opens up on the right-hand side. Dembele can have a real run at the Villa defense. It's Ousmane Dembele. He's up against Tyrone Mings. Breezes past a couple of challenges. And it's Kvaratskhelia! Clipped off the line. I think it might have been off target, but Villa nearly getting opened up again. Here's Tammy Abraham leading a 4v4 counter charge here. It's Tammy Abraham. He's got options. It's Tammy Abraham. Slips it through on the right-hand side. Alisson with a cutback. Oh, what a chance. Tammy Abraham was not there at the far stick. Alisson asking the question. I couldn't have put it more on a plate for you here. Abraham does so well here. This is such a good pass too. He makes the run, and it should have been towards the far stick. I think Ollie Watkins makes that far post run, and I think Unai Emery was signaling that movement there. It's the far post run that you have to make there. Alisson does so well. What a cameo he has had since coming on. Looks like a proper player. Unai Emery's side creating another opportunity against PSG. Well, Arsenal, barring the goal that Kai Havertz scored, created next to nothing against PSG in the Champions League final. Yes, the stakes are different in this. Oh, Villa have given the ball away. They could get punished here. It's Dembele. Can't bring the ball under control. Villa get away with murder. Clever by Alisson again. Good football. He looks a real player here. Buendia, flick on header, so dangerous. Villa nearly pressed the self-destruct button again. A couple more watch-alongs for this week, guys. The Chelsea Real Sociedad game on Saturday, and on Sunday, the Community Shield between Arsenal and Manchester City. Arteta versus Enzo Maresca, both of Pep's disciples in action here. Oh, Ousmane Dembele goes for power over placement, hits that with real force. It was on the volley. Eyes lit up there because he was left pretty unmarked on that occasion. Would have been flagged for offside though, because Kvaratskhelia just stepped forward. Decent pass this by Kvaratskhelia. Just stops and clips in to find Dembele on his left. Well, 6.5 plus stoppage time remain here in Austria, and it looks like Paris Saint-Germain will take the first trophy of the season, securing more European silverware. Luis Enrique, he's got the gold dust touch. Ross Barkley finds George Hemmings. Hemmings on the outside. It's a decent ball in again. Villa creating problems. They have not backed down here. And fair play to them. Both occasions, when PSG took the lead, they created all the opportunities. And since PSG have regained the lead, Villa have created glorious opportunities too. Here's Barkley. Clever touch around the corner. Oh, the 1-2 nearly works out. Villa playing in the PSG box. Villa, you got to cover Hell in a Cell. Be there for Amarim's funeral. You got to let me know which channel it's... I mean, I'll figure out it. But I can't watch a Manchester United AC Milan preseason game, man. I love football. But do I love it so much? Probably not. Is it on Saturday? If it's on the same time as the Chelsea Sociedad game, that would be fun. We could watch together, both games happening at the same time, but I'm not. If it's on the weekend, I'm booked. It's Chelsea Sociedad on Saturday and Arsenal Man City on Sunday. No back-to-back watch-alongs, especially with pre-season stuff. With 5 minutes per stoppage time remain here, PSG looking to move towards safe waters. Great pass there by Marquinhos. Martinez looks to ride the challenge. He's been bullied off the ball. Ken Allison drops on a dime. It's such a clever pass to Matty Cash. He's looked a proper player since coming on. Here's Cash. His pass intercepted. Looks very leggy out there and understandable. 85 minutes of real competitive football for the first time in the season is going to be a real shock to the system. But still preseason settings, mind you. So playing a competitive game in preseason is quite the challenge. Saturday, right after our game? Well, let me know how it goes, Garth. I'm rooting for you guys. Am I though? Yeah. I mean, if we have Loftus-Cheek, Tomori, and let's even add Christian Pulisic to it, and I'm probably leaning towards AC Milan. Well, Desiree Doué is coming off for Ibrahim Mbaye. And as it stands, is the match winner and will secure the UEFA Super Cup for Paris Saint-Germain back-to-back, along with their 2 Champions League, beating Spurs and about 3.5 plus stoppage time away from beating Villa. Seni Mayulu coming on. Another player. What a player he is, man. Again, somebody's going to really make a mark by picking up the likes of Ibrahim Mbaye or Seni Mayulu. Well, no Bradley Barcola coming on, which means, as much as I hate to admit it, he's going to go to Liverpool. Unless somebody else swoops in for him, but Barcola not coming on is a clear sign, because the French contingent, Warren Zaire-Emery, Ousmane Dembele, Desiree Doué, even Lucas Hernandez, add him to it, have all taken part, but no Bradley Barcola. Villa have beautiful pass appreciation. They play so well through the third. Status coaching. Exactly, man. And even if they have some of their scrubs on the pitch, they still play ball, man. And you're up against PSG too, and they're on top. They can do whatever they want, but Villa are still making it a game for them. And look at the players PSG have brought on, and look at the players Villa have brought on. This shouldn't be a 1-goal game. And if you've not watched the nearly 90 minutes of football so far, Aston Villa have been the better side, guys. It's not an exaggeration. I'm not taking credit away from PSG, but the chances they created. Any other day, Villa are in dreamland and comfort zone. Lucas Beraldo has come on for Kvicha Kvaratskhelia, who got the ball up and rolling in that first half. Cracking finish. Villa running out of ideas and steam. Matty Cash has put in an honest effort at right back, but the quality has been lacking from the Polish right back. The Villa have covered more distance as PSG have completed more than double the passes that Villa have, but Villa have created double the better opportunities that PSG have. So game does work in mysterious ways. Well, final minute of normal time. Tammy Abraham nearly made his impact since coming on. Here's Bogard. Final chance, but it's a heavy touch, and PSG get the turnover in midfield, and Ousmane Dembele can have a run here. Matson, and Dembele continues his run and nearly looks to just pass it into the corner. Ousmane Dembele showcasing real balance and good strength. He looks very sharp out there, Dembele. Really sharp. Like the turn, the swiftness. There's no rustiness into him. I don't know if he played against Manchester United, even if he was on the pitch for like 10 minutes. But he looks in great touch already. Here's Victor Lindelof as we are approaching stoppage time here at the Red Bull Arena in Austria. Villa have given the two-time Champions League winners a real game. Unfortunately, they're 5 minutes away. 5 minutes of stoppage time action away from Unai Emery's fifth attempt of trying to win the UEFA Super Cup, ending in yet another defeat. The PSG fans are getting far too comfortable with European trophies having been starved for ages. They're getting the goods all at once at the time. PSG looking to go back to back to back. A three-peat of the Champions League hasn't been done since Zinedine Zidane's ridiculously loaded Real Madrid side. I mean, they had the likes of Gareth Bale, Isco, Kovacic and all that on the bench. Benzema, Ronaldo, the midfield of Casemiro, Kroos and Modric, all in their pomp. Sergio Ramos and Rafa Varane as their centre halves. Marcelo, Carvajal as the fullbacks. Remember the goalkeeper? Yes? No? Keylor Navas. Here's Beraldo. Not much joy there. Villa still trying to push on here. Decent pass between the lines. Tammy Abraham just peeling away on the right-hand side. Possibly the last chance for Aston Villa. Here's Abraham. Here's it off to Alisson. Bogard. Ross Barkley finds Matson. There are 3 ex-Chelsea players on the pitch here for Aston Villa. Barkley, Matson and Tammy Abraham. Here's Tyrone Mings on the overlap at centre-half. Matson again. Bogard could shoot, decides against it, could play the 1-2. Buendia shifts it onto the right-hand side for Alisson. He's probably getting the overlap, but Matty Cash's legs have gone. It's heavy. Heavy-legged indeed. Thank you so much, Gautam, for tuning in. Really appreciate the kind words and, of course, the support. I'll see you for the next game. Tune in for the Chelsea Sociedad game where Xabi Alonso up against his former side as Chelsea's preparation for the start of the new season comes to an end. Unfortunately, I won't be streaming the AC Milan Manchester United game, but it's a Saturday. Might as well tune in. Thanks a lot, brother. Decent touch there by Seni Mayulu. Nearly stays in play for Ousmane Dembele. 2 minutes of stoppage time remain here. Villa have to throw the kitchen sink. Abraham chests it down really nicely. And PSG just swarm Aston Villa in midfield. Vitinha, of all players, the furthest forward, trying to just flick the header on. Here's Barkley. Rides a couple of challenges. On to the right-hand side, Matty Cash needs to find the quick release pass here. Villa running out of time and ideas. Lindelof. Line breaker intercepted. This could be really dangerous territory now. PSG looking for the killer goal with the game still hanging in the balance. Vitinha now. On to the left-hand side. Vitinha again. Finds Lucas Beraldo. Ousmane Dembele. Brilliant pass. Oh, it's just slightly heavy there for Hakimi, who made the run in the 95th minute as right back. Hakimi's engine is... yeah, it's not normal, guys. It really isn't. We saw this in the Champions League, where even in extra time, where he was just making those runs on that right-hand side, up and down the pitch. Ridiculous engine, phenomenal quality. Here's Hemmings, who's had an excellent game. He can be really proud of the way he's represented the badge. Great cross in, the header's just wide. Oh, Matson picks out Bendia, and having got there, again, there's enough pace on the ball. He just needs to direct this on target. It's a difficult header. It's well off target in the end, but that was the chance Villa were looking for. Desiree Doué got off his chair. He was looking comfortable as the match winner. It looks like he'll end up being the match winner. Here's Ross Barkley. Good football by Villa. Barkley finds Matson. Finds Barkley again. Ross Barkley. Can he go for the pass here? Drops on a dime. Tries to get the pass away. Loses out. The referee has had a look at his watch. Could be the last action of the match. Unai Emery desperate for a quick move on here. And the Somalian referee does blow the full-time whistle in Austria. And Paris Saint-Germain, who went back-to-back in the Champions League, go back-to-back in the Super Cup. They beat Spurs last year, being 2-0 down and up against a Villa side who have been very much up for it. It's PSG who have got the job done and secured the first meaningful trophy before the start of the season. Full time in Austria after Kvaratskhelia gave PSG the lead. Brian Majdo, the youngster from Luxembourg, giving Villa the equalizer before halftime, and Desiree Doué finishing off like an expert that he is, finding the corner with a left-footed finish after Ousmane Dembele found him. Makes it Paris Saint-Germain 2, Aston Villa 1. Commiserations to Aston Villa. Congratulations to PSG, man. They do it again. They're a serious outfit. Winning has become an infectious habit to them, and they keep rolling forward here. Villa, though, the chances that they created any other day, Villa walk away with the victory, man. Brian Maggio had so many opportunities in the first half. 3 glaring ones before he finally ended up scoring one. Villa had 3 or 4 very, very good opportunities in the second half. After Desiree Doué scored, they could have had the equalizer. The finishing let them down, and PSG in the end secured the game through some very good game management. Villa ran out of steam. PSG keep going from strength to strength. Well, that's it from me, guys. No more praise of PSG. That's done. The battle lines will be drawn for the season starting as PSG look to defend their back-to-back crown, looking to go 3 in a row in the Champions League, looking to three-peat it. The first side since Real Madrid to do so. Villa will be in the Champions League next season. We could very easily see PSG and Aston Villa lock horns in the Champions League, be it in the group stages or in the knockouts, as Unai Emery could not get over the line against his former side. His 5th attempt in the Super Cup, and all 5 games have ended in losses for the 5-time Europa League winner. Unfortunately for Unai Emery, this trophy will remain elusive, but he, to his credit, coached a victory here. But football does not work in that manner. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in here for this stream. We've got 2 more coming up before the end of the week. Chelsea versus Real Sociedad on Saturday, 5:30 p.m. India time, will be live 10-15 minutes before kickoff. And then on Sunday, 7:30 p.m. India time, we've got the Community Shield final. The Community Shield, basically, it's Arsenal, the champions of England, versus the FA Cup winners, Manchester City. Arteta versus Enzo Maresca to wrap up the week. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you guys for the next watch along.